Hi, welcome or welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time seeing my hands, hi, I'm Erin of Planning Life with Erin, and I'm so excited you stopped by to check out this video. Thank you so much for being here. And if you're returning, hey, how have you been? All right, guys, I thought since we're still very early into 2025, I thought that I would do a comparison video on the Hobonichi Cousin and the Hobonichi Weeks. I do use both of these planners, and I've just recently actually added in the Hobonichi, the A6 this year for 2025. I've kind of dabbled in it, I think last year or the year before, and I decided to bring it back into my lineup for 2025. But I thought it'd be really great to do a comparison, a side-by-side comparison of these two planners, and then the benefits to both. Like, I don't feel, for me personally, I don't think there's any real cons necessarily because of the way I use them, but I'm going to go over everything because I know there's a lot of people out there that might be starting one or both, or maybe started one and are finding that it's not for you and you're curious about this one. They are not inexpensive purchases, I will say. So it's not easily like something you can like get into and be like, I don't want this one, I'm going to hop over to this one. So hopefully this video will help you if you're having trouble, or help you decide which one will work for you, or maybe decide that both will work for you. That's how I use them. I use both of them. So if you're interested in anything like that, to go ahead and stick around. And if you have been wanting to subscribe to the channel, go ahead and do that now so you don't forget. Hit that bell notification so you're notified anytime we come out with something new. And if you like this video or any other video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and I thank you in advance for all of your support. Okay, so if you've been around for a little while, you know that my Hobonichi Cousin is my ride or die. This planner, I really don't necessarily need any other planner. I could get away with just this, although the problem, so I guess this could be one con. It's not large, it's an A5. The book itself is not very big. However, to put this in a purse, it's not the lightest of planners, and yes, we're in the beginning of the year, so she's still quite thin, but I'm a decorative planner, so I like using stickers and washi tape and things like that. So these planners will bulk up a lot. So not really good for shoulders unless you're really wanting to build the muscles of your shoulders, because it does get heavy. So this for me is my desk planner. I keep this at home unless I am going out on an outing to the bookstore or to a coffee shop. I will take it with me because it is my, I don't want to say it's my primary journal, but it is where I journal a lot. So I will take it out with me, and I will tell you that when I do take it out with me, my shoulders are not happy because it is heavy. That is why, for me, I have the alternative of the Hobonichi Weeks, so I can take this out with me. It's a very lightweight planner. It is the size of a checkbook, maybe a little bit bigger. If you know what a checkbook is, raise your hand down in the comments. And it's very lightweight, even decorative, and putting stickers in it. It does chunk up a little bit, but nowhere near as much as this one. So obviously our first comparison, you've got the A5. That is the size of the Cousin. I apologize for the glare. I should take this cover off. But this is, we'll just leave it on because I don't feel like, I don't want to take it off. Okay, so you've got the A5, the Cousin. It is a good size notebook. For me, this is like the perfect size notebook. I really like the size. It's not too small. It's not too big. It's just right. It's like the Goldilocks of planners for me personally. But obviously, because it is a bit bigger than this checkbook size Hobonichi Weeks, there is more space to be more functional in the Hobonichi Cousin. And I will explain why for me personally. And this is something that, you know, might help you as well. So you have your, now I don't actually, full disclaimer, I don't actually really use the, I guess it's the perpetual calendar or the year at a glance and all that good stuff. I've seen a lot of planners use it as trackers and things like that. I say every year that I'm going to do that, and then I don't. But I do use it for, and I haven't put in my dates yet, but I do use it for the functional, practical way that people would use this and mark in any important dates, birthdays, holidays, days off for my kids at school, maybe future doctor's appointments, or what I've recently been doing the last couple of years is putting in membership expirations. So if you have like I think Hulu was doing it last year, where it was like 99 cents a month for a year. So I put down the date when that stopped, because then it charges you the normal amount. So you might want to put in things like that. If you're a Prime membership, when is that going to renew if it's on an annual thing? So I tend to use this section more functionally, but I have seen, like I said, other planners use it for tracking. My brain doesn't work that way, so I'm not using it in that way. But this is very... it's a really good size space, I think, for tracking or for just marking in your important dates and your functions and things like that, compared to the calendars here. My cat's going a little crazy. Willow's very hyped up at the moment. Okay, so then you have this, which is the same thing. It's on 2 pages, where in the Hobonichi Cousin, it's on 4 pages. So you get that extra space. I've also seen planners use this to track things. If I'm being completely honest with you, I think I've tried it once and it did not work out. Again, I don't think that's how my brain really works, and because I've struggled with it. But this calendar is very difficult to write things in. It's a very small space, and I write very small, but I cannot write in like Spencer doctor appointment. Like, it's just too small for me. So I actually don't use it in here. I use it here. A lot of what I do it in here, and then I'll transfer it to here, and we'll get to that. So here is your calendar view in the Hobonichi Cousin versus the Hobonichi Weeks. Now, what I will say is that I actually like the monthly in the Hobonichi Weeks better than, I guess, the Hobonichi Cousin. Because this is so big, I don't necessarily need all this space. And if you see my spreads, I fill it up with like some stickers and stuff, which is great. Like, that's my number one tip, I think, when using a larger planner and you don't like that white space, or you don't have enough to fill it in. That to me is where stickers and washi and the decorative part of things can come in to kind of fill it up and make it look pretty and extra. Because let's face it, sometimes the things that we're putting in our planner are very mundane. Laundry, pick the kids up, study for that test, just the everyday stuff. So for me personally, being a decorative planner kind of makes it so it's like, yes, I have to do the laundry. And if you've been around for a little bit, you know I don't like laundry, but I make it pretty. So it kind of makes it a little bit more fun and exciting. But because sometimes I don't have a lot of things going on, like right now in January, I'm not complaining, because we just went through the holiday season. We were all sick. So having a dull January is fine with me. My summers are very boring because the kids aren't in school. There's not so many functions and things like that. I really like the size of the planner, the calendar view in the Hobonichi Weeks. I think it's perfect. It's great for at a glance when I'm out. If I had a preference, I think I prefer this calendar better, but I'm not as decorative in this one. Sometimes it's because of space purposes, and then sometimes it's just because of the functionality of this planner when it comes to the monthly view. And as you can see, it's kind of copy and paste. Why? Because when I'm out, pardon me, I'm still getting over a cough. When I'm out, I use this calendar to check to see what I've got going on, if I'm making a date for a play date, or if we have a doctor's appointment, things like that. Something that has to do with karate. I take this with me to see what's going on. The one thing I will say, though, I need to remember to take my flags out with me, because I will sometimes, like last night when we were at karate, we have a Spar Wars coming up in February. I don't want to just write down on the calendar. I very well could. Anybody could, I just like to be decorative. So I like it to be pretty. So I recommend flags. These are transparent, and I could just put it in, like put this on the date and then write it in, just like I do in my Hobonichi Cousin. So note to self, for me anyways, I need to remember to pack these with me when I go out. Okay, so we've got the calendar view, we've got the perpetual calendar, and then we'll go to a weekly view. We'll go to this current week. So this is the weeks, and then here is the Hobonichi Cousin. Now, I've had a lot of people ask me before, how come you have 2 planners? I actually have like 3 planners. How do I keep up with them? Don't I, like, isn't that too much? Why do you need all that? I do, but I don't. Like I said, I could just be in my Hobonichi Cousin. I could just take like a little like pocket-sized notebook with me and just write down some dates. I could use my digital calendar on my phone. I choose not to. This is how my brain works. This works good for me. Sometimes when I'm planning in the Hobonichi Cousin, if you've been around, you've heard me say this, where I'll go to plan something out in my Hobonichi Cousin. I plan out my week, and then as I'm planning in my Hobonichi Weeks, I remember something. And I'll put it in here. And basically these are like, I don't want to say they're one and the same because there are differences. But this is like my master planner. And then I kind of like waterfall everything into my Hobonichi Cousin. There are some things in here that I don't need in here. My Hobonichi Weeks. There are some things in here that I don't need. That are in my Hobonichi Cousin that I don't need on my Hobonichi Weeks. But I like the portability of this. So I can't carry this out with me. So I can't see, what's going on Friday or Thursday. But I could take this with me and I have a general idea of what's going on. If I have karate on Thursday, or if I have to make sure, I put bill payments in here sometimes too, just to remind me. So if I'm out sometimes, I know I'm probably not the only one that's guilty of this, where I'm like, ooh, I look in the bank account and I'm like, oh, wow, we've got X, Y, and Z in there. I've gotten caught with that a couple of times, forgetting that a bill was going to come out or that I needed to schedule something or whatever. And I might make a bigger purchase than I would have if I had that information, because I have a lot going on in my mind, so I don't remember everything. So I've been writing them down on here so I remember, because I have this with me. So I might give it a glance and say, oh, wait a minute, I have to schedule the mortgage payment, or I have the tire payment that needs to get paid, or whatever. So there are some things that I put in here that I might not put in here, and vice versa. I think that if you are looking to time block, which is something I really like to do, I actually like to have my virtual AI assistant time block my day for me and help me break it down into smaller bits. So this is really great for time management and time blocking. I do mine in like a general, this is my to-do list. I have my take a note that I'm using to break it down a little bit further. And I know that you're probably sitting there saying, why do you have so many planners, Erin? I enjoy this. It's a hobby. I really love to do this. I'm also a full-time content creator, so I do have a lot of things that I'm using to create content that I might not use in my personal life. But the ones that you see here, like the Hobonichi Cousin, the Hobonichi Weeks, to take a note, I do use these because I need the breakdown. I need the general, this is what's going on. This is what we'd like to accomplish. This is a Cliff Note version of this. And then I have my take a note for my Planning Life with Erin content stuff, that I have it more broken down in an hourly time blocking thing. I track habits in both of these, but I track different things. I have my mood tracker and a sleep tracker in the Hobonichi Weeks. And then in the Hobonichi Cousin, I track my habits. And then I do have a cozy hobby section because I like to see that I am doing these things. Having something to come back to check off makes me feel like I need to take that time to do a hobby, because just because it's a hobby doesn't mean you're going to sit down and do it. You could just sit there and scroll or do something else. So that's why I track my cozy hobbies, because I want to make sure I'm making the time so I can make those check marks. And I have not updated this. It's Friday today. I have not updated this. But with the Hobonichi Weeks, you can still have a time blocking situation, in the sense of, in the Hobonichi Weeks are these little like I don't know if that's coming up on camera, I can't see. There are these little dots that run all the way down the page. They're pre-marked into the planner, and you can draw some lines, whether you want to have a line here and have this section, or if you want to divide it into thirds, you can have a morning, noon, and night section. However, you need to see the layout, but this is more of just a horizontal, non-time blocking, maybe make a little list of some things that you need to get done type planner. And then you have this whole section here, this blank page, on this side, which I know some people struggle with, well, what am I going to use it for? I know personally right now I have the 5-year journal and I'm kind of struggling what to use the opposite blank page for. It's a work in progress. For this planner, I have used these pages for tracking my mood and my sleep. It's kind of evolved to different things. Like it's almost like a little weekly currently page for me right now. It's what's important that's coming up next week. I've added in what I'm listening to for my audiobooks, what I'm watching, because I can use this side more, I don't want to say decorative. It's functional, but in a different way. So I have a media journal, and I'm not in that journal every day. And I'm a mom. I'm a busy mom of 2 and all that stuff. So sometimes I forget things. So here on my weekly spread, I don't feel like I have a place to write down that weekly currently. What am I watching? What am I listening to? I could find some spots down here, but I really use most of this functionally. There is the journaling pages in the back, which I can write, oh, I was listening to this or I read that. And sometimes I do. I write little blurbs about a book that I'm reading or a show that I watched or things like that. But I feel like right here, I'm just writing it down. Like I just know, okay, this week, I actually finished it, very proud of myself, but I was listening to PS. It was Always You, book 2. I'm on book 3 now, so I have to fill that in. This week we watched some Kindred Spirits, and I actually finally had a chance to sit down and watch the last few nights, and Just Like That for the Sex and the City spinoff. Sorry, I paused the video for a second. I noticed that my camera is being silly on the phone. Okay, anyways, so I actually have to fill this in and write in that I watched And Just Like That, the Sex and the City reboot, which I absolutely love. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it. I know it's a mixed bag of chips because it's tough. They've gotten older and also so have I, but still very relatable for me. Another video, different topic. Anyways, so I want to write that in here. So when I go to my media journal, I am going to have that reminder. And I have a lot to say about that show, especially this last season, which was season 2. Very relatable. I have a lot to say about it. So I'm really actually excited to jump into my media journal. Hopefully tonight I'll have some cozy journaling time and I'll be able to write about it. But I've been finding, because I've done it here and I did it in the last few weeks of my 2024 Hobonichi Weeks, and it's been working out very nicely. So I feel like when it comes to the daily pages, so you have the structure of the Hobonichi Cousin, it's different also because you have your weekly view here. And then as you go to the back of the book, well, not the back, but you have the notes section. And then you have these daily pages, which are, for me, sometimes they're too big, sometimes they're not enough. I guess it depends on what's all in my head. That's why I have another journal. I have a traveler's notebook because sometimes I just can't get into everything on this one page. And it is just one page a day. I have seen people use this for a to-do list, for a brain dump, for journaling, for memory keeping. There are so many things that you can use these back pages for. I think a few videos down, I could link it under this, but I do have, I think it's 5 or 6 ways to use your daily pages in your Hobonichi, Cousin. So if you're interested in something like that, I will link it in the description of this video so you could check it out. I love these pages. I think I like having my to-do list here. I like knowing what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do. And I like trying to take out key points that happened in the day. And I like being decorative back here. Now, these daily pages, essentially for me, it's kind of like having this page. This is a weekly page though. You have the note pages in the back here of the Hobonichi Weeks. And it's the only con, I guess, I would have with this planner. I don't use these. I could use them for daily pages, which I've seen a lot of people do. But because I have daily pages in the Cousin, I don't use them that way. So you could use them for trackers. You could use them for market lists, tracking spending, budgeting, working out, health, and things like that. You could just use them to swatch pens on, things like that. They give you, I forget how many pages. Let me see. 70? Nope, 73 pages. So you can't journal an entire year in here, but this is, I've seen planners use them as trackers and things like that. I just personally don't use them, so I feel like this could be like a waste of space, but at the same time, it comes in handy when I'm out. You'll see, I have some chicken scratch in like the back pages and some of my other ones where I'm like writing down a phone number or maybe an address or something like that. So I do feel like it is handy if you use this as your everyday carry and you're putting it in your purse every day. These back pages could come in handy when you need to just write down something real quick. Maybe you're making a phone call and you're in your car, that kind of thing. So I do see the value in the note pages back here. I just tend not to use them as much functionally as I guess that I feel like maybe I could be, but I have like 3 or 4 different planners and journals, so I don't worry too much. I'm trying not to stress too much about these back pages. I think that for on-the-go carry, this is a great planner. Like I said, it's very lightweight. It's compact. It slips right into your purse. I've used the, like I guess the fanny packs, the ones like the little sling fanny pack bags, and they fit really well in the ones that I have, which are pretty standard, like the dome size, the oval size. These will fit in there really well. Another reason why I really like the Hobonichi Weeks is because it is compact and it is small. So if I want to do some quick journaling and I don't have a lot of time, this is a really good planner to do that in. So this was an impulse buy for me this year. I try not to do it, but I did. And that's okay because I'm very happy with it. No complaints here. I've been using it for gratitude journaling every day. I have no idea what I'm going to use the calendar section for, but I've been doing gratitude journaling every day. And when I fall behind a little bit, it's okay. Like today's Friday and I haven't filled these in, but I write down gratitude in another journal. I'm not going to duplicate it, but I kind of, for the most part, remember what I did. I have my high and low list in here. So I'm not in this every day, as you can see, but I do go back and I will go and back plan. I've just had a couple of like tired days this week, so I haven't really felt like journaling or doing anything in the evenings. But I enjoy this space. I think so. This is a new addition for me this year, and I've been enjoying it very much. I did the entire month of January, and now we're in the second week of. I'm sorry, I did the whole month of December, and now we're in the second week of January. And again, this is very compact. You could put it in an overnight bag. You could put it in your purse. Like the two of these together still don't equal the weight of this planner, the Hobonichi Cousin. So these are really great. They're really great. They're small, they're compact, they're convenient. Their covers are so cute. They have all different color covers, which I really love about the Hobonichi Weeks, if I'm being honest. I'm not a huge fan of the covers of the Hobonichi Cousin. As you can see, I've covered this one and I covered mine from last year. But that's the beauty in something like this too. It depends on, you could decorate these covers too. You don't have to have ones that already have a design on them. You can get plain ones too with colored ones and you could decorate them that way. But I do like the ability with this, even though I don't like the cover that much, I can personalize it and I can make it my own. Where these, they come personalized already. Like this one's the Spy Family, and I don't even know what this one's called, but I loved this one with the cat and the elephant and the cherry blossoms. Like I know elephants are very lucky, and it's just the detail is beautiful and these planners. So that is something else to think about. Okay, so personally, I like using these two as a system. We'll move the gratitude journal because that's not part of the system. I love using the Hobonichi Cousin and the Hobonichi Weeks. So I guess when I say that I wouldn't need any other planner aside from the Hobonichi Cousin, it's true for the most part. But I feel like over the years, this one has become a companion to the Hobonichi Cousin for me. This is more like the on-the-go Cliff Note version of what lives in here. That you might find the same. You might find that you like the Cousin and you carry around the Hobonichi Weeks as your everyday carry because it's a great companion. That's just my personal opinion. That is just something that's evolved over the last 3 years of me being in these planners. But I think that it depends on your needs. Like if you are in school or if you are working a job where you need to time block what your day is going to look like, this is a great way of doing it. I think that the spacing, the grid is a good size and the spacing for the columns are a really good size. considering that it is 1 week on 2 pages. I think that's really great. I do think that if you're going for a smaller minimalistic, if you don't have a lot going on, the Hobonichi Weeks is definitely a good choice because there is a smaller amount of space. If you're looking to just maybe track some steps, what you're eating, things like that, this is a good size page to do that. I say that the Hobonichi Weeks is small but mighty because its looks can be a little deceiving. You can still, as you can see here, you can still be very decorative, especially if it's not a week that you have a lot going on. You could be very decorative in these planners. I've used larger stickers. There's some examples in here actually with larger stickers and then writing in all the things around it, which you could still do if you were making appointments and you just had larger stickers in here. Like I said, this is my small but mighty planner. So I think that what would work best for you, it's a personal choice. For me, I like using the Hobonichi Cousin and then using this Hobonichi Weeks as my everyday carry. So let me know down in the comments which you think would work better for you and your lifestyle and why. I would love to hear from you. I know everybody has different things going on. Some people are stay-at-home moms. Some people are working and working moms, and some people are school students and things like that. So I would love to hear from you and how you use your planner and how it works for you in your life. And if you're not in either of these planners, that's fine too. You can let me know what you use. I love to hear about different planners, and that's what I love about this community. It's so vast. It's like sometimes, like I've been in the community for probably about 4 years now, I believe, or going on 4 years. And there are planners, like take a note. I just heard about this one, like I think last year, and I decided to pick one up this year. I will say, if I'm a little side note, I do like it, but I kind of sort of wish that I got the A6 because I do find that this one's a little small, but I like it. And I really like that I found this planner through other people in the community. So if you have a planner that you're absolutely obsessed with, let us know down in the comments below and tell us why, because I would love to know. Okay. I want to add in, I was just thinking to myself how much I love to-do lists, and I have them everywhere. So when I'm in my daily pages, I have my to-do list here. I'll bring you guys down just a little bit. I have my to-do list here. So I have like Planning Life with Erin things, and then I have my like everyday things, and I put everything on my to-do list. Like I know you see like memes and stuff out there on social media that'll say like, just write stuff in my to-do list just so I can cross it off. Coffee, done. Well, I'm like that, and I love that because it makes my brain feel satisfied. Like, ooh, I did something, and that triggers me to do more some things and to try to get as many checks on the list as I can. Let me know, raise your hand down in the comments if that is you. So I will write down things like coffee and journal because that is something I do every day. Sometimes it's just coffee in the morning and then journal later in the day. Sometimes, or most of the time, I try to have it be coffee and a little bit of journaling in the morning just to kind of like set the intention for the day. But I will write everything down, like even silly things like take a shower, like the kids charge their Chromebooks, vitamins, things like that. And then I write down and generalize what I'm doing for the day for Planning Life with Erin things. Here I have a little bit more of a condensed list. Bank, budget, or budget, bank, market, orders, and then filming. So like it's just more of a condensed list. I will go into more detail in other planners sometimes on what my to-do list is. But the reason why I have so many to-do lists, and they're a little different, is because I'm looking at each one of my books in different places. So that's something else to consider, I think, when trying to decide which planner would be good for you. So this planner stays on my desk. So this is more like desk things or remembering what do I need to do in the house? Like, do I need to take something out of the freezer to defrost? What am I making for dinner? Did I take my vitamins? Like my desk is 10 feet away from my kitchen where my vitamins live. So I'll put down vitamins. That's why I have it on my weekly view as one of my habits to take my vitamins, because that is something that I struggle to remember to do. But when I check in at night, and if I don't check in at night, I forget. But when I check in at night, I will see I have like these little tiny icons here to mark all my habits. So I have like some meditation, journaling, coffee, just quiet time in the morning. my vitamins, eating healthy, and working out. And as you can see, I forgot my vitamins on Monday and Tuesday, most likely because I probably didn't open up my planner while I was sitting at my desk. This was, I think, oh, this was New Year's. Yeah, this was the New Year's week. But I will have different to-do lists in different places depending on where that planner lives. So that's just something to keep in mind. This planner I take out with me kind of goes back to what I was saying about I write down some things or payments that might be coming up. So I have it here. So if I'm thinking about buying something, I could see that there's something coming that I probably shouldn't, right? So I do that with this little shorter list. These are more like, what am I doing when I'm out type lists? Like I have to go to the bank. I have to pick up my market orders. Joe has a dentist appointment. That's something that I have everywhere because I need to remind him of that. Something that I might need to schedule. Things like that. That's what I will use the to-do list for in this planner. I have a to-do list on my counter, and that's more of like house things. Don't forget to get this from the market, or don't forget the permission slip that needs to be signed, stuff like that. So I am a girl that loves her to-do list, and I have them everywhere, but they all serve different purposes. They might not all say the same thing. It might be more of a breakdown. I have my morning schedule here. I like to write in what time I wake up. And then I will put in that I'm going to have some coffee and journal. I get ready. I have breakfast. I drop off. And then I figure out the rest of my day. I try to time block Planning Life with Erin time. And then the rest of it tends to be a little bit more of like a to-do list or what's coming up for the next day. Things that I need to remember. Maybe some things that like I want to remember for the following week. Like that's what this important section is. I put this in here. So I'm sitting here saying, okay, Spencer's Chess Club is going to start next week. So I need to remember when I'm planning for this week, I'm going to write that in so I don't schedule anything at that time, or I remember that I need to pick her up a little later on a certain day. Stuff like that. I'll go over the things that I was going to cook. What did I cook? What am I eating? Maybe we didn't get to, we actually ate all this week, but maybe we didn't get to something like, I think here, okay, yeah, so pork goulash. We didn't have that last week. We had chili, not tacos. So this week we had tacos and pork goulash, and I was able to add this here because I saw here that we didn't have that last week. So that's great. I still have the ingredients. Let's make it this week kind of thing. This planner I don't use for dinners and things like that. And I use this one for dinners and such because when I'm out, I take this with me to the grocery store. I used to have my market list in here. I don't anymore. So now what I do is I use a Post-it note for my market list. But if I forget my market list, I can easily look at this and say, oh, we were going to have some pork goulash this week. What do I need? Do I have everything? That kind of a situation. So this again is very functional, I would say, on the go, and definitely different function than this, my desk planner. So that's how I use these planners. I know that some people find that it's a little much, that you probably don't need much. You probably don't. You could probably get away with this one. But I like having both. I like having one at home that I can look at my desk. I like having one that I can carry with me and have on the go. And have it be like, I guess the best way that I can explain it is the Cliff Notes version. I know people that plan in this and only plan in the Hobonichi Weeks. It's totally doable. Especially, like I said, if you don't have too much going on or you're not worried about having a time block situation. This planner is small and mighty. Don't let the size fool you. You can fit an awful lot in here. And you could still be decorative with your stickers if that's something you choose to do. And like I said, this planner does chunk up a little bit, but not nearly as much as something like this would. So yeah, so let me know down in the comments which of these, actually, you know what? Let's go over the paper. So the paper is Temu River paper. I don't know if you are new or if you're a seasoned planner, if you're new to Hobonichi, let me know down in the comments. Hobonichi just recently changed their paper. But it is Temu River paper. It's still Temu River. I think it's just a different weight. I forget. It's like Szechuan or something like that. I can't remember what this new paper is. That is why I fell in love with Hobonichi. I love this paper. I love the Temu River paper. It has like a certain crinkliness to it. And once you start writing on it, it starts getting like crinklier and crinklier. I don't think that's a word, but we're going to use it. As you start writing on it, the pages kind of like, I don't know, like from the indentation of the pen, they get like, oh, I don't know how to describe it. It reminds me of like an old book or something. And like the more you use it, the more like broken in it gets. And that's like my favorite part of these planners. I will say, so I've never really truly done a side-by-side comparison of the paper, but I can tell you right now by looking at it, so the Hobonichi Weeks is a little bit more yellow than the Hobonichi Cousin. I don't mind that, which is strange because I always liked bright white things. Like this color always looked dirty to me for some reason. And I don't know if it's my old age or what, but I had no trouble getting into this Hobonichi Week with this like creamy, like yellowy type paper or like off-white paper. I actually thought it was great, and it added more to the, I don't know, to the, I'm trying to think of the word, the aesthetic of the planner, I guess, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word that I wanted to use, but the paper is very thin. So you can, I think you guys can see that. Can you see the sticker outlines from this page? You can probably see it. There we go. You see the sticker outlines. So you will see things like this. There will be some shadowing and things like that. Let's flip this page so we can see the back of this page. And you can definitely see the stickers. And then when you actually write, when you hold the page down, can you see that? I don't know how well this is going to come up. Yeah, you can see it. You can see the shadowing. This is actually from the opposite page. And it's funny because when I'm writing sometimes, like especially for my, let's do this, my journaling pages, I think you guys can see that. Let's see if we can get it a little closer. You can see the stickers on the other side. And then when I push down on it, I can see all of the writing. But again, it's from the opposite page. There is a little bit of ghosting. I know a lot of people have been complaining over this year that the paper is different. There's more ghosting. I was fortunate enough to not experience that anything more than the normal that I've found over the years of the shadowing or the ghosting and bleed through. So like I've figured out what pens not to use, what markers not to use it too much in the same spot because it is a very thin paper. I think that the paper is great. I feel bad for people that hopefully, I feel bad for anybody, but I feel bad for people that might be just jumping into a Hobonichi. And unfortunately, I have heard rumors of there being some bad batches of the paper. And I feel terrible because personally me, I absolutely love this planner, and I've achieved planner peace in the Hobonichi Cousin. I've kind of checked all the boxes, that kind of thing. And I feel bad, and it's unfortunate that some of these planners have bad paper in them because I feel like if you're new to Hobonichi, you're not really getting to experience it. And again, they're not inexpensive. They're not super expensive, but they're not cheap either. So I feel bad if people have invested into something like this, and I could see how that could be devastating and disappointing. I personally have not experienced that. I have the A6, the Cousin, the Weeks. I have 2 weeks, and I have the A5. The A6 5-year journal, and thankfully, I have not experienced any excessive bleed through or shadowing, ghosting, things like that with this paper. So keep that in mind that it is happening to some people. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to it. So I don't think it's like, well, if you buy it from here, that's where they're coming from versus buying it from this other place. But also keep in mind that there is some normal and natural shadowing, ghosting, bleed through. You can see here. I think you guys can see that. I'm not sure. With this right here, you can see that it's ghosting a lot there. This right here is from this opposite page. So it's not bleed through. It's just the shadow that you could see, especially if you put pressure on it, you could see right through it. So once you start using it a bit more, you start to notice it less because you're writing on top of it. So you don't see it as much. But I think in the very beginnings when each page is new and fresh, you can see it a bit more. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. Again, if I flatten this, like when I go to write on it, you could see everything from the opposite page. It's not even necessarily the page that's right behind it. It's this page here. Like you could see the dates coming through. But that's not bleed through because that's from this page. But that's part of the charm for me having the shadowing or ghosting from the other pages. And then again, once you start filling it in, you start to notice it less. So I have these journaling pages where, yes, you can see some of the shadowing and ghosting that comes through. But once you start writing in it, I think it actually like kind of adds some character to it. And again, gives it that newspaper, like, I don't know. I can't think of the word. Like, I don't want to say aesthetic, but that's not what I mean. It's like, it gives it this like worn in, like almost like newspaper, old book vibes for me, like vintage type vibes. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm having trouble with my words today, apparently. But that's part of the charm for me. I just wanted to bring that to your attention in case you are very new. There will be some normal and natural bleed through and ghosting. But there are some books out there that are ghosting and bleeding through a bit more than they probably should be. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. But all in all, Hobonichi to me is a fantastic company. They make a quality planner and a functional planner that you can use depending on what your needs are. I do like a lot of the features, and that is why the Hobonichi Cousin has become my ride or die. It is my planner piece. I have everything I need in this planner. I have my monthly view. I have a weekly view that is time blocked or not. If you don't want to use this, but you like this layout, you could just start layering stickers on top and doing like really cool decorative / functional type spreads, and definitely have enough space to do that. But I think that what really won my heart was the paper and the journaling pages in the back. I have always been a journaler. I've always had a diary. But I never had anything to keep me accountable, I guess. Like, they were always undated, just notebooks. And a lot of times when I was younger, especially a teenager, I felt like I could only write when I was sad and, you know, going through something that was like big emotions. But over the years, as I've gotten older and I've matured and I have kids and I have a life and I have all those things, I realized that I can write about anything under the sun. I can write about the happy things, the sad things, the ugly things, like the good, the bad, and the ugly. It all goes in here. The more personal things to go in a personal journal that I have, but that I don't share on here. However, again, it's a not dated notebook, and there's nothing really holding me accountable, where back here in these pages I have a date, I have a day. I started off with my to-do list, so it kind of gives me something. I try to do it the night before. I don't always get to it. Sometimes in the morning with my coffee, it's just the to-do list. But it kind of gives me a launching point and a reason to come back to this page. That's why I do the to-do list, because I was actually thinking the other day, I was like, why am I still doing a to-do list in here? I don't really need that. I can just journal. But it's helpful, I think. For my brain, personally, I start with my to-do list, and it, again, gives me a reason to come back and to write about something, or maybe jot down some notes about something and all that stuff. So I do love these journaling pages, and it is something that helped win my heart over when it came to this planner, because I feel like, oh, wow, look, I have my planner, I have my calendar, I have all the things that I need right here in one book, and it's pretty great. But it does get quite heavy and difficult to just carry around with you, just because. So that is why I also have the Hobonichi Weeks. I did jump into the Hobonichi Weeks first. I was coming from a Happy Planner, which is larger than even this, and I thought it was going to be a difficult transition, but it really wasn't, because again, it's a small but mighty planner, and there's a lot that you could do in this little planner. It would surprise you. It surprised me. So I did start in this, but then instead of not having this, it really did come in handy. And again, I just look at this like it's my little companion to this. It's the Cliff Note version of the big book here. So again, let me know down in the comments what planner you're in. if you're in a planner, if you found this video because you're trying to decide what planner is good for you, if you have questions, leave them down in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys, and I am so happy to answer any questions you might have if I have an answer, or if I know the answer. But definitely let me know what planner you're in, what planner you're thinking about, even if it's not Hobonichi. I know there are so many other planners out there. I'm actually probably going to try a couple more this year just for purposes of trying them for you and then giving you my honest review on what my thoughts are on them. I've been in a Hobonichi cousin now. This is my 3rd year, and this is my 3rd year in the Hobonichi Weeks. Actually, it might be like my third and a half year, because I started this a little earlier than I jumped into this. Love these planners. I say that this is my planner piece. I'm not actively looking for a new planner. That's what I mean by planner piece. It has everything I need in it. This combination of planners is planner piece for me, and it works very well for what I need in my planner life, to keep my brain organized. But I think that I might start trying out some other planners just so I can see how they are, and then be able to give you guys an honest review. So this way, if you're not at planner piece yet, I can still show you some other planners that might be the path to your planner piece. So if you're interested in stuff like that, go ahead and hit subscribe. We'd love to have you here. We're having a blast. We're over on Instagram also, Planning Life with Erin, if you'd like to give us a follow over there. We have a lot of reels over there, a lot of, not behind the scenes, but maybe some planners and journals that we don't do Plan With Me's or journal videos here on YouTube. There's some reels and stuff over on Instagram. Definitely check that out. And I started a Patreon in September. So we're having a blast over there. So if you're looking for a little bit more behind the scenes, a tighter community, we're having a blast. We've got a great group, and we talk about everything. We talk about planners and life and all that stuff, and it's really nice to have that little corner within the planner community, to be able to talk about our love for planners and stickers and pens and all the things, and dive deeper into that that we can't do on Instagram or YouTube. So all that information will be down in the comments below. We'd love to have you. We're having a blast. And I think that's going to do it for me. I hope this video was helpful. If there are any other questions or points that maybe I didn't touch on, please don't hesitate to put it down in the comments below, or you could reach out to me over on Instagram, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or let you know my thoughts or opinions and all that good stuff. So as always, guys, if you've made it this far into the video, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here. I know we're all busy, and I know there's a lot going on in life, so taking that time to come and hang out with me, talk planners, talk stickers, talk all the things, it's very much appreciated, and I'm very happy you're here with us. So thank you again for just being here, being you, and just viewing and watching and all that stuff. And until I see you again, have a beautiful week and keep planning. Bye.